Hello, it's Tamara Hunter, and I am punting right now. I have it's day number 146 of 365 days of awesome. Celebrate success through service, and yes, I am having technical difficulties, but that's not going to stop me. We are going to make this happen. We're going to try it again. I'm going to try bringing him on. So sorry, guys. Let's see here. I'm having some technical issues today, and we are not going to let this stop the program. Okay, you've been invited. All right, so let's see if we can get going again. I'm so sorry for all the issues, guys. For some reason, my computer's not working, my camera's not working, everything is having issues. So we are just not going to let that get us down. We are going to make this work. Okay. All right. Bring it back on, Lyman.
Hey! Not sure what happened, but you know what? Let me share this with you. And this is for those of you that are watching. We're having some glitches, but here's the great thing about technology. It allows you to reset and to do over. And that's a great metaphor for your life. If things are not going according to plan, don't get frustrated. Just simply reset your mind and say, you know what? I got another opportunity to do it over. And so, as I was saying before the break, think of it as a commercial break. You ever have a program you're watching, and all of a sudden you said, I'm sorry to interrupt your regular scheduled program. We have a special announcement. Well, there was a special announcement. Don't know what it was, but the universe gave us a commercial. So we just took a small commercial break, and now we're back on air. What I was saying before we went to break was this, is that you want to make sure that there are three types of people in any audience. There's the intellectual, head knowledge. So you have to speak to their mind. These are the people, they love facts, they love figures, they love numbers. So your presentation have to speak to the head. That's about 20% of any audience. 50 to 60% are intuitive. They got to feel you, brother. They got to feel you, sister. These are the ones that say, it was all right, but I just didn't feel him. He didn't touch me. He was kind of cold. I mean, he's smart. He's intelligent, or she's intelligent, but I just didn't feel what they were saying. That's 60% of your audience. Then you have 20 to 30%. They're implementers. Man, we love the implementer. They're ready to take action. And I want to steal from the famous line from what was the show about the guy that was a sports entertainer? Show me the money. McGuire.
Jerry McGuire.
Remember when he was dating a young lady and she said, you had me at hello? All right, Jerry Maguire, that movie back several years ago. Implementers are those, as soon as they connect with you, they are ready to take action. So what I try to do is make sure that my message touch the head, the heart, and their hands. And here's the key for those that are in sales and you're not seeing the results that you want, you have to reevaluate. Am I just touching the head and forgetting about the heart? Matter of fact, I was in Texas a couple of weeks ago, and a couple of days ago, I was in Orange County, California. And I was talking to a group of financial people. And someone said to me, Lyman, now when you go up there, now these are real serious people. They're not into all this hype and foo-foo and all this stuff. So we took a break, and I was outside talking with someone. I said, let me ask you a question. I said, be honest with me. There's about 30, 50 people outside. room about 60, 70 people. I said, let me ask you a question. Would you rather go in and listen to a very stoic, very quiet, monotone presentation full of content? Or would you want to go in there like it's a party? Do you realize 90%, and these are accountants, financial people, they said, oh my God, we would love to have fun. So we went in shouting and clapping hands. And the organizer of the event looked at me and said, what have you done? But they had fun. Here's the great thing about it. Because they were having fun, they pulled out their wallets and purchased. What am I saying? When people enjoy what they're doing and they connect with you on a deep personal level, because you not only touch their head, but you touch their heart, then it's only natural for them to open up their wallets and do business with you. Back to you.
Well, hopefully I'm not going to be. I don't want my sound to be a problem.
It's not.
Okay, good.
Okay, good. I really love what you're sharing.
And
And
the focus and to prioritize.
Yes, you have to have a focus, okay? The world is highly distracted now. Matter of fact, Microsoft did a study 2 years ago and said the average attention span is less than that of a goldfish. And so, but you look back 10 years ago, and you know, when I started out in speaking business 20 years ago, we was told make sure that your presentation is under 45 minutes because at that time, 10 years ago, the average attention span was about 30 minutes. Now it's down to 6 minutes of active listening. So every 6 minutes within your presentation, you need to switch their focus. You need to bring them back in because they will drift off. How many of you have had conversations with someone and after 6 minutes, your mind is thinking about the chicken in the oven, the laundry that you need to be doing, or you're saying, I hope this person shuts up because I have no idea what he or she is talking about. That's because our attention span has gone from 45, 30 minutes down to about 6 minutes, but our active attention span that we're 100% focused is about 5 seconds. So this is how it works. When I talk about focus, then I move to prioritize and achieve. And it's called the 6 or 7. I like 7, so I say 7, 7, 7 rule. You have 7 seconds to make a first impression. That's it. 6 to 7 seconds to make a first impression. You're either going to come off as being high energy, boring, interesting, or dull. You got 7 seconds, or they will tune you out. You have 7 minutes to say something that will capture their imagination and their attention. But this is where most people fail. You have 7 hours to follow up with someone or you are forgotten. And I can prove it. How many of you have gone to a networking event, collected business cards, you get home a day or two later, you look through the business cards and you say, I have no idea who this is. So what do? You throw it away. However, if you have that person that captured your attention, your imagination, they said interesting things, you will remember that person. Maybe they was dressed interesting. Like Emerson, our good friend Emerson, wears the pirate hat. He stands out. Another good friend of mine wears a very loud purple polka dot tie. I don't care if he's wearing red. People remember him with the loud polka dot purple tie. That has become his signature. Christoph, the vest and the hat, has become part of his signature brand. Why? You have to stand out. Everywhere I go, people know me as the focus guy. Okay? So that's the focus. You have to set a focus. Second, you have to prioritize. You see, you cannot do everything at once, but you can get everything done if you prioritize based on three simple factors. Impact, number one. Urgency, number two. And is there a financial return? Those are the only three ways you should set priorities. Number one, what's the impact of this decision? Who will be impacted by this decision? Is there a sense of urgency? Oh my goodness, if I don't respond to this RFP, I'm going to miss out on an opportunity. If I don't pay this bill by midnight, they're coming for the car. Okay? So that's very important. Also, financial return. Most people lose money. I remember this about a couple of years ago. I was working with a client. This client had paid me a $5,000 deposit to help her get some grant funding. And I told her, I sent her text messages, I called her, email. I said, listen, I need your information to build your case study, and the deadline is such and such. She contacted me 2 weeks after the deadline. And she said, you know what? You did everything. You honored the contract. I missed out. So she basically just gave me $5,000. Why? Because she didn't have a sense of urgency, she didn't prioritize, and she didn't calculate the financial impact or the return on investment. Now, this was a high-income person, so for them, $5,000 might be maybe $100 for others, because it's relative. But I couldn't understand that anyone would just give away $5,000 when they had the opportunity of making $250,000. That was the opportunity lost by not getting me the information to create the proposal that she needed to get a government contract.
Wow.
And then the last is celebrate. Hey, you gotta have fun. Celebrate your successes along the way. And this is the hardest thing for my clients and for people to get. They say, but I haven't reached my final goal. I understand. Celebrate every milestone. Because let's face it, tomorrow is not promised to us. But if you celebrate the success, you release endorphins into the bloodstream. You get a rush of dopamine, all the feel-good chemicals. And it gives you that internal push to keep going. I had a good friend of mine, professor. We used to walk. And he would always say, continue to march. When we got tired and felt like giving up, he would turn and say, continue to march. And I want to tell you, you're out there, you're tired, you've been beating the weeds, you've been going fishing and coming home empty-handed. Continue to march. Because if you continue, trust me when I say this, the floodgates will open up for you. Because remember, you're awesome.
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
absolutely.
And you know, we'll say that the thing that I really get from you when I hear
Lyman. In
the
fact, I heard you being I need
in Las Vegas.
in Las Vegas, and I heard your voice, and I knew exactly who it was without even turning around.
And I was like,
and I was like, what is he doing here?
So excited.
So excited.
You got to have fun. You know, that's, you know, I grew up, as most of you may or may not know, I didn't learn to speak literally till I was 8 years old. I wore braces, corrective shoes, bullied, sexually abused. And, you know, I was the kid that a teacher told me I would never make it. And maybe there are people listening out there, you can relate to that, that someone told you you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not of this caliber, whatever label they put on you. Let me share this with you. I had a teacher named Miss Jarvis, God rest her soul. And Miss Jarvis looked at me in the 7th grade and said, Lyman, there is greatness in you. And I can tell you over and over again, but until you believe you're great, then you will always be what someone else say you are. So I began to say, I am great. And I was making D's and L's. But something interesting happened. The more I began to say, I am great, I am brilliant, I am wonderful, I am intelligent, I kid you not, my grades began to soar. She gave me a speech called The Creation by James Weldon Johnson. It's the longest poem I ever saw in my life. And she said, Lyman, I want you to learn this poem. She worked with me. She was my coach. And we would do drills after drills after drills. And I was like, I can't do it. My good friend, Naaman Oliver Wright, he said, Lyman, stand in front of the mirror, and this is what I want you to do. I'm in 7th grade. Naaman's in 9th grade. He said, Lyman, this is what I want you to do. Practice as if you are your favorite character. He got me into a state. He said, who do you like? I said, Dr. King. Interesting thing happened. When I thought of Dr. King, the next day in class, instead of delivering the speech like in the beginning, all of a sudden, I was in character, and it came out like this. And God stepped out on space. And as far as the eyes of God could see, darkness covered everything. What happened? I believed more in Dr. King than I believed in me. But because I borrowed from Dr. King, who I had never met, I took on his style, his animation. It gave me the confidence to do it. So sometimes you have to mirror someone else until you find your voice. Back to you.
You know, and that's so true. In fact, I know why I really came so much because I too
had to
have 8 years of speech therapy. I was born with my mouth so misformed
that I
had to have, headgear and braces and the whole, and I swallowed wrong.
And then
I was allergic to the sun. So, it was like, I was the one that they felt sorry for, or they totally made me. For the longest time, I felt like the odd duck.
Or that I didn't even belong in the pond
at all.
Absolutely.
However, what happened is I too ended up with such
amazing teachers.
And you know what they did was they made me an ambassador for the school to work with other kids that had issues. And so then I became the one that got to hold the hands, the ones that were feeling awkward, and there was this one girl that came to school, and she was not doing well. In fact, she would have been put in hospice.
She would have been put in hospice. Is what would have happened.
She became my
best friend.
And I was able to help her feel like she belonged at school. And in doing so, I felt like I belonged there too.
And that forever changed me. And thinking about it, I'm sure that has a lot to do with
the fact that I have a buddies movement
started way back in the day.
And you know what? Let me share something with you. It's amazing. I never knew that. If you want to get under my skin, pick with the elderly or children. That's my passion. Because I was the kid that never got picked on the team. I was the kid that people made fun of, couldn't speak, couldn't walk. And to look how far we have come, not because we did anything other than be available, be coachable. And I thank God every day for Mrs. Jarvis. When I went to college, my mentor, Dr. Francine Childs, I call her Mama Childs. She's the one who introduced me to speaking on stages. I was in an undergrad, and she would invest in me by taking me and other students to conferences, not to attend, but to moderate and put us on the stage, all the way from undergrad through graduate school. She invested in others. She still does. And She told me once, she said, son, the only price that I ask is that you pay it forward for someone else. And I'm so appreciative of these great warriors. And I know you're a warrior. These great women warriors that saw something in me, saw something in you. They
Right.
said, I will not allow you to live below your potential because there's greatness in you. And yes, you are awesome.
You know, and I
And I
appreciate you
appreciate you
saying
saying
that. And I
that.
wanted
And I
to
wanted to
recognize we have a
recognize we
lot
have
of
a lot
people
of
that have
people that
been
have been
mentioning and saying
dancing and saying
hello.
hello.
And, Chris often
Chris
mentioned
often mentioned
our very
our
dapper
very
friend.
dapper
And he
friend.
was
Yes.
the
And
one
he
who
was
said
said
hello. And,
hello. And,
show me
showing
money. He was
money. He was
going there. And then Gail.
Cam,
Carter,
Carter,
hello.
Yes, hey,
And
Gail.
I have to
I have
say,
to say,
one of them,
one of them,
Shelly,
Shelly,
hi, Dad.
Uh,
And Sammy, Sammy, hi from San
Sammy,
Diego, just love him.
love him.
And then we've
And then
got
we've got
Keith
Kate
saying
saying
amen,
amen.
amen.
and
Um,
and
and
then we
then
have
we got
Ron
Ron
saying
saying
fantastic.
fantastic.
Thank you,
So,
Ron. I appreciate that.
and then Renee Reich, one of our service
One of our
heroes,
service heroes,
take a special
take a
person
special
to see a
person to
special
see a special
person
person
within
within
us.
us.
And
Yes.
then we have Gail. Hi, Gail.
I do.
So,
So,
I just
I just
absolutely love
absolutely love
everything
everything
about you,
about you,
Lyman.
Lyman.
You just
You
have
just
an
have an
energy.
energy,
You have
you
a
have a
heart. You
heart,
have
you have
passion and
passion
fun.
and fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely. See, here's the deal, okay? When you've had everything and lost everything, like so many of us, and you have to reinvent yourself, that's why in our company, Focus Driven Lifestyle Coaching, we have a saying, get focused, refocus, so you can stay focused. See, some people, they're distracted. They need to learn how to focus their mind, their attention. And let me give you the basic definition of focus. Focus is your ability to direct your attention towards something or someone. Concentration, on the other hand, is your ability to stay in focus. So when a person says
Okay.
you need to focus, well, guess what? No one tells you how to focus. I heard that all my life. You need to focus, man. Focus. Pay attention. That's about how do I do it? And that's why my program is so successful. And I've worked with hundreds of thousands of entrepreneurs, teachers, business people, career professionals. And the refocus is all about reinventing yourself, where you change your focus. One person said, he said, man, are you telling me I need to refocus my focus? I said, I like that. I'm going to borrow that. And it's true. Maybe your focus was being an educator for 30, 40 years. Now you're retired, but you still have energy. You're still witty. And you're saying to myself, what's the next chapter in my life? We work with those individuals to help them to refocus their focus. And then there are those who say, Lyman, if I feel like some days I'm on top of my game and other days the world is on top of me, how do I maintain my focus? And we work with those. So there's three types of people we work with. We work with those that are highly distracted. They have no idea what their focus is. Another word for focus would be their passion, their what they're good at. They don't know. They need to figure it out. So we help them do that. We have others going through career changes, and they need to refocus their focus. They want to do something different. Um, for example, I know a young lady that is rather a engineer, civil engineer, and she was good at it. She went, sat, and got her P down in Florida, which is her professional engineer certification. She hates it.
Oh,
You know what she got her passion in? Globally traveling the world. She has a company called Luminaire, and she travels around the world, And she goes on mission trips, corporate mission trips, where she gets in service working with depressed areas. She's been in Guatemala, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, all over the place. I think something like 16, 17 times. She found her purpose. And that's what I want people to do, is live in their purpose and not just simply do what someone else said. Well, you're good at math, you should be an engineer, and you hate it. You might be good at it, okay? You may have to do it, but what is your passion? And here's the key. We got to stop lying to people and say, do what you're passionate about. No. Passion is nothing more than the internal flame that's going to push you. You have to do what you know inside of you. I was meant to do this. It's just deeper than passion. Passion is just the flame. It's the fire. It's the drive, baby, that's going to push you when you don't feel like going. That's the passion. It's the sacrifice, okay? It's that sacrifice, the thing that you're willing to give up, to have. But the thing that's going to make you great is when you look around and you say, you know what? Nobody else, I believe, can do this better than me. It's not being cocky. No. It's having the confidence that you know you're great. Why we go around self-defecating ourselves? If you great, say you great. If you awesome, be awesome. The world continues to beat us up. It's not arrogance. No. But you got to know who you are. And my job and your job is to simply remind people, you are great.
That's right.
Awesome. Because I believe.
One question.
How do you help them if they're not 100% quite clear and focused on what it is that is going to be their future? How do you help them? Is there questions or is there a program that helps them to identify that?
Yes, we have a program called the Fast Start program, and Fast Start is an acronym that stands for Focus, Acceleration, Success Training. Here's how it works. Everything is timed. So I'll meet with the client, and they say, well, Lyman, take the person that says, I'm passionate about 50 things. I said, okay, you got 3 minutes to write down those 50 things you're passionate about, starting now. And I'm quiet. And they start just writing. I said, don't organize it, just write it. Stop. Then I say, I want you, imagine you're on a boat. The boat is sinking. The life raft. You can only take 3 of the 50. You got 1 minute. Of the 50 things you identified, you could only take 3. You got 1 minute. Pick. All of a sudden, their focus gets wide, and now they get very narrow. Why? Because I've created and simulated an environment that accelerates their focus. If I were to take, and it works 2 ways. If I was to say, if you can pick 3 things, and I will give you $1 million per 3 things, you get real clear. The opposite, if I put a gun to your head and say you got 3 things to pick, you get real clear. See, some people operate on fear of loss. Others operate on the hope of gain. So which one? It's better to operate on the hope of gain than the fear of loss. So we create an environment that takes them through both loss and gain. That lets me know in our conversation if I need to talk about gains or if they're stuck with loss. Well, I'm afraid I might lose this. I might lose it. I have to reverse that. I have to change that mindset. So that's how we narrow it down from 50 or 20 down to 3. And then we have an exercise that we do that get them down to 1. And how we do that is there's a series of questions, and it's called 5 Deep. 5 Deep sort of goes like this. We take each one, and I'm going to ask you 5 questions. And a person says, and we just play this out for those that's watching. A person says, well, I like animals. I never ask why. Why sets you in defense? I ask what and how. What is it about animals that you like? They give me an answer. Well, how would you monetize working with that animal? They think about it. So what would be the barrier to you working or getting that program off the ground? Now you told me what the barrier, how would you find resources to get around the barrier? You see how that works?
Yeah.
It's a lot different than asking why. Why automatically sets the nervous system in defense. Ask the kid, why did you hit your little brother? I don't know. Why did you take the candy out the candy jar? I don't know. It's a paralyzing question because it means you have to, why simply means to justify an action. You can get to the why by asking what and how. And then when I get through that, we go 5 deep for each one. And then we come up with the win. This is how you determine what it is you're going to do, which leads into the priority. When are you going to get started? When they begin to say, I want to get started now, we put a star by it. When they start talking about, well, you know, I need to do this, maybe 6 months, it's not a real priority. I'm looking for that thing that they say, man, if I could get started now, I am ready. That's how I help people to get crystal clear about where they should be spending their time, their energy, and their resources.
Wow. You just gave an amazing gift to everyone here.
Yes.
Anybody, thank you. Thank you. Because anybody that has been kind of wavering and learning nearly, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be thinking, okay, I need to really get my act together. 2019 is my year. And I'm not the kind of person that's a New Year's resolution kind of person. I'm a kind of like, today I'm ready to do something. It doesn't matter what that clock or that calendar says. But if it's in me to do something, then by golly, I'm going to figure it out and then make that happen. And I hope that some people that are at that place, they're not going to wait. They're going to say, okay, I want to do this exercise. I want to do this, and I'm going to ask these questions of myself. Or I'm going to write this down, and I'm going to have someone else ask me.
Yes.
And then, if they want to get a hold of you to kind of find out what's the next step, what would be a good way to get a hold of you? And don't you have a book? Does that book cover some of this?
Yes, it does. I have a best-selling book called Focus Driven Lifestyle. You can find it anywhere on Amazon. You can go to my website, which is www.focus, F-O-C-U-S-E-D, driven, 2 Ds, driven.com. You can find me on Facebook. The easiest thing to do, just Google me. Google Lyman Montgomery, and all my stuff will pop up.
I love it.
It's amazing about technology. I've met people from all over the world. Matter of fact, I was speaking, I was in Pennsylvania speaking a while ago, and someone said, man, I've been following you for 3 or 4 years. And I said, for real? I said, I don't know. He said, well, I never say anything, but there's a whole lot of people that follow me. Please let me know your name, at least, so when I meet you in person, I can say, hey, thank you for following me. But this has been great. Thank you, Tamara. I tell you, I am encouraged by what you're doing. I am not just someone who believes in you. I follow you. I comment. I think you're doing a great thing. And more people need to be out there living their true purpose. Because remember, it's about being in your purpose, not so much about your passion. Because how many of you know people that got a lot of passion, but they don't know their purpose? And when you discover your purpose, it will help you to prioritize the things that you need to be doing based on impact, based on urgency, and for those that are in sales, and based on financial return. Those are the only 3 reasons you will ever prioritize in life. Everything else is minutia, and everything else for most of us will not yield true results. So I always want to be the guy that adds the most value in the room. Value is all about worth. And I believe this has been a worthy, value added exchange between two giants. Tamara, you a giant. You are my Shiro. You are a true warrior out there on the battlefield. And I applaud you and I thank you for the work that you're doing. Continue tomorrow.
Well, thank you, thank you. And and I knew that this was going to be an amazing show because of all the technical difficulties and everything. It's like whenever that happens, I always know something great is meant to take place. And you know what? You, in my mind, you are exactly what you said about me 10 times more, because you know what? And you have so much to give, and I am so thrilled that you are giving it, and thank you for those teachers that inspired you to do what you are doing, because you have actually affected my life in such a way that I am doing what I'm doing, because I remember you being up there, and I'm thinking, I someday am going to be up there doing what he's doing right now, because you were everybody was feeling it. And that's all I was thinking. I want to be like you. So it's true, and I'm so thrilled that you were able to join me today. And thank you for being so flexible with all of these issues. And as we close day number 146 of 365 days of awesome, celebrate success through service. Lyman Montgomery, you are a superstar and a hero among us all. I am thrilled to be able to call you my friend, and I want to say thank you for giving the gift that you gave today to all of us.
It's been my pleasure. And would you do me a favor, my friends? Stay focused.
Okay, I promise. See you later.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.